Pleiadian Master Teachings, channeled by Michael Love. Sovereignty, Chapter 11, Parts 2 and 3, video series only. There is a high probability that someone close to you did not like the idea when you decided to improve your life, ascend. Furthermore, they did not like it so much that they decided to threaten you with war if you proceeded. All we desire for you here is to stop and think deeper about what happened and seek the truth of it. Then, when you see the truth of it, allow it to sink in. If a manipulative situation like this is currently happening in your life, we say, be true to yourself and hold your ground. If you do this, the universe will quickly take care of the situation. Surprisingly, another primary way consent to be manipulated is granted is simply by being unaware it is happening. The unconscious and unaware one is easily led away, enslaved, and others can use their personal energy easily without their knowledge. The universe is just and allows this to occur because all parties have agreed for it to occur. Consent was granted, the contract was placed into force, and unconsciousness is not considered a valid defense in the great court of the universe. This is just how it works. As a sovereign being, it is fully one's responsibility to be conscious and to protect and manage their energy wisely. A similar way to grant consent to have one's energy taken is to be tricked or deceived. Again, the universe requires one to be aware enough of what is happening around them, not to allow this to occur before sovereignty is granted. The next way to grant consent for one's energy to be used by another is by allowing the experience of negative emotions. Some might argue that feeling negative emotions is normal, but we can tell you it is not normal. A primary part of Ascension mastery is to keep one's vibration elevated, and a normal state of emotion is to experience peace, joy, and love. When one vibrates low and allows negative emotions, they are not only creating pain and suffering for themselves, but also making a statement to the universe that they are allowing and agreeing with this lower state of being. This free will agreement to vibrate low creates a condition of contractual agreement to bring in even more low energies into one's energetic space. When one reaches and stabilizes a vibration that matches the fifth dimension, one will never experience another low, painful emotion. Consent can also be granted for one's energy to be taken and used by not caring for oneself or the things in their life lovingly and healthily. This can include indulging in unhealthy addictions and habits, ingesting unnatural substances, drugs, or alcohol is a direct way of granting consent for the worst kinds of energy manipulation by low vibrational beings, living in any debased way without pride, cleanliness, good character, or nobility tells the universe one does not care. Saying I do not care energetically says I agree to whatever contract another proposes, even if it harms me. The most frequent way contractual consent can be granted to have one's energy taken and used is implied consent. Of course, implied consent is a bit shady to begin with, but in this universe, it's enough to create an enforceable contract between two parties. One's actions, of course, can be used to create implied consent for a contract, but more specifically, by not saying no or by not saying or doing anything means one said yes. And oppose. Suppose you are energetically attached to a friend who is connected to another unhealed person who vibrates very low, and you are unaware of this other person. It is implied and understood that you know what you are doing by being connected to the original friend, so you are saying yes, it's okay to be connected to the other person. In this case, you agreed contractually by implied consent to have your life force energy used by an unhealed being you are unaware of. Again, this is where correct awareness is required of what is transpiring around you so you have enough information to act accordingly. Make sure you know who and what your closest connections are connected to. Light is information, and darkness is the lack of information. Be sovereign in all your ways. The Pleiadians, expanding one's consciousness is the first major step toward freedom and sovereignty. One must be fully aware of what is transpiring around themselves, on many levels, at all times. When one has information, they have light, which becomes the light that shines into the deepest, most hidden levels of darkness. It is said, when the light shined in the darkness could not understand it, so it fled away. Next, gain full knowledge about living a sovereign lifestyle and create a liberating plan. At the beginning of this chapter, we said all beings are already sovereign. However, this sovereignty can be lost if one gives away their power in an unconscious way. Therefore, if this has occurred, the only way to correct it and become sovereign again is to take back one's power. The most powerful and fastest way to achieve liberating energetic results in one's life is to begin working with the universe. We tell you, the universe has your back and will send you well on your way toward sovereignty. Since this universe operates under contracts and laws, a built-in, tangible remedy prevents any being from controlling or manipulating your energy without permission. The remedy is simply to decree that one does not consent to any energy manipulation, and it must stop by universal law. If you do not believe this, try it. The first step to re-establishing sovereignty is to speak the following personal decree aloud several times per day for a few days. My personal power is my personal power. My life force is my life force. No one can use my energy without my permission, and I do not give permission. Therefore, I am revoking all contracts in my life, known and unknown, and I shall reinstate new contracts of my choice that will serve my highest good. So it is. When you speak the decree above, say it out loud, as you mean it, and place great emotion behind the words. When a decree like this is spoken, it invokes unimaginable universal power that will come to your aid, and you will notice in time that things that once bound you in life no longer have any power and must let go. What you say to the universe is the highest binding contract that exists, and these powerful words shall indeed manifest as one's new sovereign reality. The fifth dimension is the dimension where one first speaks their highest truth. Sometimes this highest truth might be the word no. Before being ascended in consciousness, one most likely allowed others to use their energy in unhealthy, even harmful ways, simply because one did not say no. Sovereignty is about speaking the truth and then living it. Learn to say no and set safe, energetic boundaries. You have the free will of conscious choice to say yes or no, and this is your way of making contractual agreements work in your favor. This works not only with the universe but also on an everyday level. Anytime someone presents anything to you, be it a document, a thing, spoken words, or something energetic. To perfect this contracting skill, when something is presented, ask yourself, how does this feel to me? You have every right to say no if it doesn't resonate with you. Keep in mind that there is a specific art to saying no, especially in response to commercial contracts, where you will always remain in honor, and it is advised that you study and work on perfecting this art. As we teach in our Ascension chapter, one must set firm, healthy boundaries around their being and create space when necessary. This is a primary part of self-love and healthy self-respect. As one sets these energetic boundaries, very real universal forces enter to ensure one has relief and remedy and that things unfold quickly in their favor. You are the king or queen of your kingdom. The Pleiadians. Practice self-reliance and self-sufficiency and live as best as possible without relying on anyone else. First, you must ensure you can produce and provide everything required for daily survival. This includes water, food, shelter, heat, and oxygen as a given. Beyond this, one must have safety/security, sleep, and health. Beyond that is a myriad of things depending on how elaborate one desires their life to be. Learn to live naturally and devise creative and economical ways to produce what you need. The information about how to do this is readily available if you seek it. Though you are an island to yourself, you will attract many like-minded supporters who respect your lifestyle and will always be there for you. A positive thing about living a sovereign lifestyle on the land is that when natural disasters or other troubles and trials come to the populated world, one is set up in a safe space and is prepared for what may come. Therefore, it is much more likely that a sovereign living on his own land, providing for their own needs, would survive a major disaster than the masses of Earth beings who dwell in cramped cities that do not live this way. Practice self-governance and govern yourself accordingly. Take responsibility for your life 100%. The sovereign consciously creates their own reality and knows their personal manifested reality is their sole responsibility. There are no victims, and there is no one to blame. Sovereign beings do not require authority figures, gods, or leaders, and they live as such. A sovereign being does what they desire and does not violate the will of others. Sovereign beings keep their word and fulfill all valid contracts in honor. A sovereign being always operates from the highest state of love and peace. A master of sovereignty knows that sovereignty is no excuse for any harmful crime or action. Therefore, they strive never to do harm. The sovereign knows this is the one true law that fulfills all law systems. If harm is done in some unexpected way, they take full responsibility and make it their prime duty to make things right as fast as they can, to the best of their ability. They know this is the way of the master. Something magical happens when one becomes sovereign. This is where one grows up. It is time to grow up and take on the ultimate responsibility. It's time to be honorable and begin displaying the highest character levels. These ways of being are primary requirements for universal sovereignty. Start being the highest and most grand version of yourself that you can conceive of and begin to live out of your heart completely. This is what sovereignty is all about, and when you begin to be and live this way, you will become fully enlightened.